Good morning and welcome to Monday Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com, and it's the day of the Republican National Convention. We'll be hearing a lot about Donald Trump and the Republicans' plans. Got the election coming up, the whole post office thing. A matter of fact, the House of Representatives came back to give the post office money. Of course, the Senate didn't come back, and it's not going to go anywhere. But, again, they'll come back to give the post office money, not going to come back and give you guys money. But I see Ice Cube, the rapper. I don't know if you guys are fans of Ice Cube or not. Believe it or not, I am actually a big fan of Ice Cube. He was big when I was younger and a whole lot dumber. But Ice Cube was out. He was mad as you know what because he saw what I saw. Hey, where's the money? And again, I do laugh at the fact that the black community thinks the Democrats are for them. Because they've been in power, especially in all the cities that they rioted. They've been in power forever and haven't been able to do anything for them. Huge riots. I don't know if they were huge, but pretty big riots in Denver this weekend. And riots is the word. This was not protesting. They were calling for the complete abolishment. Just abolish the police. That's what we want. It's incredible. And this is, doesn't matter. You can't hide from it. You can't run from it. And again, you see this in the Democrat cities because they refused to provide law and order and protection. And my heart goes out to all you business owners out there. It really, really does because it's not right and it's. I don't know how all of a sudden we confuse rioting with protesting, but apparently that's exactly what we do. And by the way, one of the things that is very interesting, and maybe this is one of the goals, a friend of mine brought this to my attention. He was talking about, what's the big push? The Republicans want this mail-in voting, which has never really existed. You had the absentee ballots and you had, some limited voting that people could do from home and whatnot. But they want, just post office to mail everyone ballots. I'm not even sure exactly how it would all work. And almost guaranteeing a challenge to the election because that's what would happen. Obviously, the post office has already said, we really aren't equipped to do it. The post office can't even deliver the mail anymore. Not in a reasonable amount of time. And they talk about the postmaster general, and saying it was Donald Trump's fault that the mail's all screwed up now. And really what it is the postmaster general's like, well, I got to make cuts. We're losing $4 or $5 billion a quarter, seemingly. It's an obscene amount of money. And he started making cuts, and obviously he didn't make the right cuts. I don't know. One of the things, too, he banned overtime, which caused all the mail not to be able to be delivered in a timely manner. But the media is acting like the post office is the greatest run organization in the world, and believe me, it's not, and probably should be privatized. Really, when you think about it, we should privatize the post office, we should privatize the schools, right? Let's get back to less government. Look at what Amazon can do. Amazon can deliver a freaking bed like the same day, right? Walmart can deliver you a big screen TV the same day. The post office can't get a check from Mesa to Phoenix in 48 hours. I don't know. Call me crazy. But maybe we should get rid of it. Maybe there's a great, think about all the money we could save, right? I don't know. Who knows what I'm talking about? But, again, back to this election thing. right? If it's challenged and people are talking about, we're not going to know who won for months. Who's in charge if the Electoral College can't come to a conclusion? Right? What if it's, and I don't know, but hopelessly deadlocked and they're all waiting for these mail-in ballots and legal protests and all that? One of my buddies said that Nancy Pelosi gets to be in charge. I mean, I don't know. It could be crazy. Everybody needs to just buckle up, put your mask on, and go vote. Right? I mean, you think about, remember the hanging chads in Florida and all that? I mean, I could just imagine, you know what would happen. The post office they're miraculously going to find thousands of ballots everywhere. Some postal guy's going to go rogue, right, and rent out a storage unit, and he just throws all the ballots in there. I mean, I don't know, right? It just makes no sense. But then again, this is the world we live in, and this week we have the virtual Jackson Hole meeting. So the bankers, this is the meeting for the bankers, right, where they plan all of their stuff in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and this is the week, but because of coronavirus, it's going to be all virtual. Can't wait to hear what their plans are. 800-951-0592. Don't forget the website, allamericangold.com. And we had a flash crash this morning. For those of you that don't remember the flash crashes, they happen a lot with low volume. And it's exactly what we have right now. Now, a lot of it because, in Arizona, the kids have been back to school for a week and a half. But in the East Coast and other parts of the country, they're still not back yet. And back into I'll call it the old calendar. School, you didn't go back to school until after Labor Day. Well, the Richie Riches, they're all vacationing right now, and they're over in the Hamptons or wherever they go. So volume always historically light at the end of August. And now you get these flash crashes because the computers trade so fast. I mean, trades happen in milliseconds. And what happened this morning was a trade went in, and they were selling. So they were selling, and I want to say it was the VIX, the volatility index of all things. They were selling that, and there wasn't a buyer on the other side for like a whole second and a half. Some incredibly tiny, small amount of time, and it just went in and made this huge downdraft in the VIX and kind of screwed up the markets. The Dow, which is already recovered, the Dow was going to be up a couple, 250, 300 points this morning, was only up like 60 or 70. It's recovered. Gold was up. It fell. It's on its way back. It's still not quite all the way back. Gold's still down 5. Silver's come all the way back. But yeah, so we had another one of these flash crashes because, well, it's just they got to get it done so quickly. And like I said, just a second or two. There was no one on the other end. What I worry about is what happens if there's no one on the other end for like 5 minutes, right? Because, I mean, could you imagine what you would see then? How about Tesla? We talked about them on Friday, and I was kind of kidding around, but not really. Do you know the P/E ratio of Tesla is at 1,050? When you think about the old historic averages, P/E ratios, it used to be 8-1. That was kind of before the tech bubble. 8-1 was kind of the ratio. So 1,050-1, compared to 8-1. Now they say because of low rates and negative rates and, the Fed's never going to raise rates again, somehow 19 or 20-1 is kind of normal. So I don't know, but very bubblicious is what the markets are feeling like to me anyway, when you look at what's happening to the PE ratios and you start looking around corporate bond defaults. Now, we know retailers are going bankrupt, right? And we know the American public. Think about all the moratoriums we have right now. No one has to pay their student loan. Matter of fact, that just got increased. I believe now you don't have to pay your student loan all the way through next year. Now, I don't know if the interest accrues. My guess is it does. So, I mean, obviously, if you don't have the money, you can't pay for it. And already, half the people don't pay it anyway. But if you do have the money, I advise you to pay it. Because I would think the interest would roll. But, who knows? Again, I don't know. Maybe that's bad advice, right? I mean, if I had the housing crisis to do all over again, I wouldn't have paid my mortgage. I mean, I had one of those great mortgages where whoever owned the first and somebody else owned the second, I could have stayed in there forever. Well, of course, we had moved. We were renting it out, but neither here nor there. I'm getting sidetracked. It's Monday. I got a lot going on. I got to leave early today. I'm getting an MRI on my neck. Remember my neck that I was dealing with before the COVID? That didn't go away. So I've got the MRI today, so they've got to drug me up because I can't go in that tube. I tried, and the guy didn't even get out of the room, and I started saying, get me out of here. So my wife's going to take me, and then I've got surgery on my elbow on September the 8th. This was all part of the neck-arm thing, so hopefully I won't need surgery on the neck. So that's what's going on. So if I'm a little scatterbrained today, it's just because I got a lot of anxiety about getting in that tube, man. It's so funny. I'm 50 years old. I'm a grown man. I know that, right? It's not like I'm going to die in there, right? Or something horrible's going to happen. I mean, yes, it's loud in there and it's very claustrophobic, but my mind won't do it. Nope. Get me out of here. And so we'll see what happens. So if I'm a little crazy and nuts today, now you know why, because I got to do this. It's at 3 o'clock. I got to take a Valium at 2 o'clock. Valium, is that, I don't know, however you pronounce it. And then try to get into this thing. So wish me luck, because my doctor said that it's got to get done one way or the other. So, keep me. I'm such a chicken. It's so embarrassing, too. You're like, I'm afraid. But I hear this. A lot of people are. Because you got to go. It's a neck thing. So you go all the way in there. And it's super loud. If you've never had an MRI, super, super loud. But we're talking about virtual Jackson Hole, bankruptcies. Now they're saying that corporate bankruptcies are going to break a record in 2020. And that really, of course they are. Of course they are. Look at how much we've shut down and people aren't working. The unemployment checks, a few more states are starting the process. I just can't understand it. I mean, if the government was willing to give you an extra $300 a week to every person you had unemployed, why wouldn't all the states just take in the money? I don't know. Of course, because they hate Donald Trump, I guess. But still, a lot of states, still a bunch away. 3 states, though, now are going to kick in $100 extra. Montana, Kentucky, and, of course, I forgot the third one. Of course I did. But 3 states have agreed to take the $300. I think we're up to 21 states are somewhere in the process. Arizona, the money's already coming. The thing is, though, this executive order apparently has an expiration date, so you only get it for a few more weeks. And then I guess their Congress is supposed to come back and hopefully do something, but neither here nor there. That's what's happening there. Corporate bankruptcies now, they said on August 17th, according to the Financial Times, a record 45 companies with more than $1 billion in assets. So this is just, bigger companies. You got to have at least $1 billion in assets, had already filed Chapter 11. That's a new record for any year. And you think about, the tech bubble, we didn't have it. the housing / financial crisis we didn't have. Because you got to remember, the economy didn't shut down. Right? I mean, the housing crisis, the housing market was crappy, but I mean, everyone still had a job, except if, unless you were a realtor or a mortgage broker, right? You didn't, but everybody else did. They're saying that the previous record was during the financial crisis in 2009. There was 38. 38. And now they're saying that 157 companies with liabilities over $50 million, and that data is a little old. They think going all the way there, that's going to be a record. I didn't see where they actually predicted what the number is going to be, but I think probably close, at least a doubling from here. So we'll beat that record probably by 300% on the corporate defaults. And again, the end users, these banks, right? Somewhere, somebody's holding the liability to all these defaults. Be interested if Jay Powell even talks about it. I would love it if he actually addressed the fact that they know that the banks are lying about the stress test. Wouldn't that be great if he came clean and said, you know what? You're right, really, none of these banks can pass. Because I don't see how any of them could pass. I mean, the only market that's hanging in there, and you can't even say housing. I mean, yes, prices are up. And some people are buying, but the amount of people not paying the mortgage, not paying the rent, we keep going over and over and over all of these things. How much longer can you extend it? And then what happens, though, irregardless, what happens when it's over is really what we should be looking at. Apparently, Wall Street doesn't want to look at that because, well, let's face it, then you can't justify all the prices that have been going on out there. And you think about cases are falling, which is good. Yesterday, the president talked about the plasma. And I will say this, for people that don't know, I got firsthand knowledge. I've gotten the plasma. My wife and I, we've donated plasma. If you're in the hospital, at least in Arizona, you get it. It's something where it's safe, so it doesn't hurt anything. Don't know, it's a part of it. Right, in a lot of treatments that are proving to be effective, there's 2 or 3 parts. Plasma by itself, nobody can tell you whether it's good or not because they haven't done a study like that. But plasma with, I got remdesivir, right, and the dexamethasone. It was this. It was a part of the treatment that worked for me. And again, I don't know how big it is. The president probably made it out to be a little bigger than what it was, but it's helpful. Definitely helpful. And I think there's a lot of this out there that they just don't want to get out and let out. But very concerned because we have this Dr. Gottlieb. He's been out on TV again a lot. He's the guy that led the charge to shut everything down. And he's out there warning again about this wave that's supposed to be coming, and it's going to be worse and this and that and the other. So going to be very, very interesting as we get towards election time, how all of that stuff shakes out. Right? Could we have a contested election? Could the Electoral College be like, we're unable to, because we don't know the votes because of the mail-ins or this or that or the other? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what the president has to say. They said he's going to talk every single day of the Republican convention. So that starts again this evening. When we get back, we've got a new item. We haven't run this particular item in years. It's a silver item. Just to let you know, it's a silver item. We haven't run. I'm saying years. And in the 17 years I've been here at Patriot, We've run them a few times. Not very often. And, of course, with silver, the mint unable to keep up production. Silver Eagles, $10 over spot plus, and the silver that they're producing right now, they are actually still producing Silver Eagles, but the quantity is so small that the premiums are outrageous, and everybody, like I said, $10 is about it. That's cheap on Silver Eagles. So we're looking at other sources. We've been selling a lot of junk silver. But when we get back from the break, and this is something we've gotten a lot of calls on, I've called all over the country for this, and I finally this morning, about a half hour, 20 minutes before we got on the air, I got a call from the East Coast. Never seen the light of day, unopened silver rounds. Got a special coming for you. Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. Yes, ma'am. 800-951-0592. I just want to clarify. I misspoke. So on the student loans, you're forgiven through the end of the year. And no penalty, so the rate of 0. So you don't pay a penalty. But I thought it was through 2021. At least for right now, they extended it until the end of the year. We'll see if they extend it again. So it's not as bad as I thought originally, not as good either. But student loan payments, federal student loan payments, you got to put that in there. So if it's not a federal one, I guess you still got to pay. So just to clarify there. Silver rounds. I don't know what kind they are. So I'll just say they're assorted rounds. They're probably all the same. But they're all brand new. So a lot of the rounds, they've been around and they've been beat up and told, nope, these are brand new. Again, I don't know what they are. I wish I did, but I don't know what they are. We've got five cases out there. There's 25 rolls in a case. So we've got about 125 rolls of silver rounds. And you're looking at a lot cheaper than a Silver Eagle rolls. And we're going to do a volume thing. 1 through 14 rolls. $660 a roll. So that's $33. Right now a Silver Eagle is probably $36, $37, probably $38, right? $36 to $38, depending on who's got them. So you're saving $3 to $5 there. 15 to 24 rolls at $655. Cases of rounds, that's 25 rolls or more at $650 at 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Silver rounds, 660. There's 20 in a roll, just like Silver Eagles. These are all, each round is an ounce of silver. The only difference between that and, say, a Silver Eagle or a Silver Maple Leaf, these are not government hallmarked. So these are not government hallmarked. These are 1 ounce silver rounds, anywhere from $660 to $650 if you buy it by the case. A case of rounds, as an example, 25 rolls of rounds, which would be 500 rounds, $16,250. We'll see how it goes. If we get a lot of demand for this and people like them and whatnot, we'll try to get more of them. But this is our first time since silver has been shut down that we've had these available. Here's the thing. This is cheaper than junk silver. So right now, this is the cheapest silver price point that we have. Obviously, Silver Eagles are just, if you can get them, they're out of sight. Right now, junk silver is trading. Let me just tell you where that's at so you guys could know here. Right at the $33 level, $32.86 to depending on the type here, $33.56 on junk silver. So here we've got $33 all the way down to $32.50 if you're buying in volume. So this is a good entry point here in the silver market as far as price per ounce goes. 800-951-0592. That is the toll-free number. Take the time, put them away. Jay Powell is expected to speak Thursday at the virtual Jackson Hole, Wyoming meeting. Should be interesting. All the things I don't know, I haven't even seen. A lot of times ahead of time, I'll see a list of what they're going to talk about. I haven't seen it. It's been a lot. It's been a lot more haphazard this year, obviously with the virtual thing. So as we get news clips and briefings, I'll bring them to your attention. Of course, we got to talk about the 2 hurricanes that are coming. Have you seen that? Some of these weird things, right? You're just like, okay, is this a sign or is it just coincidence? The hurricanes, there's 2 of them that are both targeting, looks like Louisiana. I don't want to say New Orleans, but it looks like New Orleans. I don't know that either one of them is going to be like a, Category 5 or Cat 4. But they're both expected to be hurricanes, and they're supposed to hit like 1 or 2 days apart. I think the first one's supposed to land tomorrow, and then the other one's supposed to land sometime late Wednesday, Thursday. And these models are showing these models, and it's like they could hit in the exact same spot 48 hours apart. I've never seen anything like it. And again, I don't think they're going to be super powerful. But the amount, with the hurricanes, it's the flooding that really does it in, right? The wind blows, and the power lines go down, yes, and some roofs get blown off and the trees fall down, but it's the flooding that really gets it. So I don't know how that's going to work. I haven't seen, nobody's saying, how big the storm surges are going to get. Are they going to hit at low tide, high tide? I don't know, but let's hope for the best, right? Let's hope for the best. But I will say this, it's kind of scary looking, but I'm hopeful that they're not going to be too powerful. And, New Orleans, that thing's a natural flood zone to begin with. So hopefully everybody gets out of there, be safe. And again, with the COVID thing, how does that work? I guess you got to go find a place to run that is open. And I think a lot of the hotels now are open. And let's face it, they got plenty of room. Another record, I guess I need to tell you this. It will be 2020 and really probably 2020, and then we'll probably break it in 2021. Hotel defaults are also going to set a record for bankruptcy filing. So we think retail's going to set a record. We think corporates over $1 billion, at least $1 billion of assets, are going to set a record. Hotel bankruptcies are going to set a record. My guess is commercial real estate also is going to set a record for bankruptcy filings, and it's just this craziness that's out there, right, between the rioting and the looting and the mail-in, like the post office thing, all the bailouts, and you think about all the records amount of money we've spent. The deficit's going to be a record. Right now it's going to be real close. 29 to 30 trillion, because I'm penciling in $1 trillion for stimulus. If it gets to $2 trillion, we're going to hit 30 trillion before the end of the year. If it stays at 1 trillion, we should be like at 29 trillion. So, yeah, that's a lot of trillions. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. 2 lines open. Silver rounds, not silver eagles, silver rounds. There's 20. Just very similar to silver eagles. So there's 20 in a roll. Each one's an ounce. I don't know what kind they are. Right? Are they buffaloes or prospectors or what? I don't know. But I do know this. They are new, so these aren't recycled rounds. They're not toned up, and if you open the roll, you'll be the first person to open them since they got put into the cases. We got a volume scale going here. So 1 roll through 14 rolls, $660 a roll. If you buy 15 to 24 rolls, you save $5 a roll at $655. If you buy a case, which is 25 rolls, save another $5, so $650. If you buy them by the case, and you're saving $4 to $4.50 versus a Silver Eagle. Of course, I can't get any silver. I shouldn't say I can't. I probably could, but they want to charge me $8 over, and then I've got to make some money. So silver rounds. Right now, the best entry point in the silver market, and silver's just consolidating here, waiting. You think about the big run silver had. Silver was just wouldn't move, right? We know. Go back 6-8 months. Silver was like $14, and then it slowly started climbing. Then it rocketed, right? Once it finally broke through 20. It went right to $25, and it's been consolidating between $26 and $28 now for the last couple of weeks. Gold, the same thing, consolidating between $1,900 and $2,000, and I think it's just taking a rest here, and everyone's like, oh well. It's run so much. Apparently, Tesla can go to 1,050 times, and it's okay. But, gold or silver going up, they hate that. We've got the big virtual Jackson Hole meetings. And, again, I expect a lot more dovish talk out of the Fed. But apparently, they're going to want to hear about what the Fed is going to do in the bond market. Their balance sheet went from $4 trillion to $7 trillion. It's been sitting at this $7 trillion level for a while because there's moratoriums everywhere. In other words, the next big increase in the Fed's balance sheet is when all of these moratoriums end, when the foreclosure moratoriums end, when the commercial real estate moratoriums end, all the evictions and all of those things. The bailout buddy stops, then you're going to see the Fed's balance sheet jump again significantly. I imagine a Fed's balance sheet well over $10 trillion, probably closer to 12 to 15 trillion next year. The federal debt, we talked about that, right? We're saying we don't know how big the stimulus package is, which we apparently aren't going to know until after Labor Day. If it's $1 trillion, I think we miss $30 trillion this year. Not by a lot, but I think we'll slide in just under that. If we get a package closer to $2 trillion, then we're going to hit $30 trillion before the end of the year. The big thing's going to be, is there another wave? Is this guy Gottlieb right, and we're going to see another wave? If we see another wave, I expect more bad things. I expect a lot of deficits. And then the election. Who's going to win? I still think Trump's winning. I can't imagine we can vote for Biden. But then again, stranger things have happened. If there's another wave, that may be it. That could be enough. To have people go the other way. You got to remember, really, it's only a handful of states. I know they say Arizona's in play. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But really, it comes down to Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. I mean, those handful of states, those are really going to be the ones that decide it all. And those states, we're talking less than 50,000 votes. And Hillary Clinton's the president. So it's going to be very tough. It's going to be very, very interesting. I guess you can throw Pennsylvania in that mix as well. Those are the states, I think, that are really going to determine the outcome. of who's going to be the next president. But the one thing I know, the bankruptcies aren't ending. The bankruptcies are here to stay. How much of that is the central bank going to buy? It's going to be very, very interesting. I think it's going to be trillions. I really do. I think they're going to come out and maybe in the Jackson Hole here, maybe that's where they're going to let it be known. We'll have to wait and see. How about this, though, the layoffs? Remember we jumped up last week, and it was kind of weird because we expected it to keep falling. Something very interesting. A lot of companies, especially big companies, furloughed their employees. In other words, said, hey, listen, we're temporarily laying you off. That's called the furlough. But as soon as everything gets back to normal, we're going to bring you back. Now, all of a sudden, in about the last 30 to 45 days, with all of the Q2 announcements, earnings announcements coming out of these companies, they're now saying a lot of these furloughs are going to be permanent. We'll talk about that in the final segment. U.S. silver rounds, 660, 15 rolls or more, 655. A case of silver rounds all the way down to $650. Final segment coming up. Final segment, Patriot Radio News Hour, talking furloughs. I don't think it changes the numbers too much because if you were furloughed, you were still able to collect unemployment. But now the number of companies that are changing the furloughs to permanently laid off, here's where we're seeing the damage. Travel, hotels, and again, the vacancy rates at these hotels. I don't know how any hotels can make any money. I mean, look at even Disney. At Disney World, if they can't attract people, they shut down 2 of the hotels that they had reopened, shut them down. The other one is related to Boeing. Large announcements, the Boeing supply chain. Remember, Boeing's come out and said that, they're just not having enough sales, right? As a matter of fact, a lot of the months the sales are the other way. They're negative, going to be slowing production significantly, making a lot less planes. And now all the supply chain in Boeing, a lot of those people were hoping to come back to work. They're saying as many as 50% of the people that had been furloughed. In other words, back in March or April, maybe even May, when they originally got laid off, they were like, hey, don't worry, we're going to call you back. As soon as it's over, we're going to call you back. And you think about, well, at the time, you're getting an extra $600 in your unemployment check, and a lot of these people thought, okay, I can hang on, right? I can hang on for 3 months. Maybe I can hang on for 4 months. Now they're getting notified. Not only the $600 is gone, maybe you're getting $300, maybe you're getting nothing. And oh, by the way, the furlough is now a permanent layoff. In other words, we're not calling. Don't expect a call from us. We're not calling you in October or November. We're not calling you in March or April. A lot of these companies, so you think about the cruise line industry, you think about the airline industry. Remember, we still got big layoffs coming from the airlines. The ones that took the bailout weren't allowed to lay anybody off until October 1st. All of the airlines have sent out notifications to their employees, letting them know here's a buyout offer, or you're gonna get laid off come that first week of October. We saw American already saying, hey, we're not going to even fly to certain cities. And matter of fact, 9 of the 15 cities, American was like the only big airline that flew to those cities, and now they're going to have none. And then the Boeing cruise ships, hotels. So that's a lot. You start thinking about how many hotels you got in the town, and I hear we don't have cruise ships, but a lot of people that do the cruising and I guess like travel agents. Are there still travel agents out there? I think there is. That's a tough industry to be in. So not great news. I think we're going to be very dependent where gold goes, silver goes, at least short term, and I mean very short term. This week. It's going to have a lot to do with what we hear out of the virtual Jackson Hole meeting. I think longer term, like if you think, hey, where's gold going to be in the next 6 to 12 months? I think we're going a lot higher because it just looks like a lot more spending has to happen. I think we're going to get ready for a big jump in the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. And now remember, we kind of know what Wall Street wants. They want the Federal Reserve to guarantee low rates by saying we'll buy everything and anything, and that's going to bode well for gold. So silver rounds, 660, 1 through 14, 15 to 24, 655. If you buy a case, down to 650 a roll. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back tomorrow.